I'm Tom Geddes from Mancunion, here with Jean-Paul Gaster from Clutch. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How's the tour going?
Fantastic.
So, you're a fan of both bands?
Definitely a fan of Thin Lizzy, one of our favorite bands coming up. Brian Downey is one of my favorite drummers. I'd never been able to see him play before, so this is pretty special for me to be able to check him out every night. No one plays a shuffle like Brian Downey.
How do UK crowds respond to you usually?
Pretty good. It's been a slow build for us. We started coming here in about the mid-90s, and we always wanted to crack the UK first. We always wanted to get a fan base going here before we went over to Europe. And it took us a long time, but I think we managed to do it. We still have a lot of work to do here in the UK, but we like coming here. We definitely have some fans over here, and the shows are always fun.
That's cool. Do you have any memories from playing Manchester in the past?
Yeah, I can remember playing here with Biohazard actually in 1994, I believe. That was probably the first time we'd been to Manchester.
That's cool. How did the band form?
We were in a band in high school together, a hardcore band, a bad hardcore band, and we pretty much just kept in touch, and we formed Clutch just after high school, maybe about 2 years into it, 2 years after high school, and that was it. We've been playing together ever since then.
Yeah. How quickly did you realise Clutch was going to be long term?
It took a very long time to realize that. I realized early on that I wanted to be a drummer. I've realized that was what I was supposed to do. I wasn't really good at much of anything else. I'm still not good at anything else. So I knew early on that I wanted to be a drummer. For Clutch to actually become something that we could make a career out of, I think that took a long time. The early years were rough in a lot of ways, and I don't think we ever really envisioned ourselves being able to be around 21 years later.
Yeah. So your sound, it's evolved pretty much from hardcore-ish to blues. I mean, how much of that is conscious decision? How much does it just happen?
Just happens. We happen to listen to a real wide variety of music. When we were touring early on in the mid-90s, we were in a band, and consequently we spent a lot of time just listening to music, and it would be all kinds of stuff, whether it was Lightning Hopkins or it was Sepultura. You know, there was always some kind of music going on, and it's never been a conscious decision to sort of, you know, become a different kind of a band. We just have played and listened to records and hopefully just become better musicians.
Given all those styles, how would you describe Clutch musically?
Rock and roll.
Just rock and roll, simple?
Straight up rock and roll. For me, rock and roll encompasses all of the musics that we listen to, and by that I mean jazz, blues, reggae, hip-hop, metal. I mean, for me, that all comes from rock and roll.
Yeah. So Clutch have got some pretty interesting lyrics. How much of that is the rest of the band, and is it?
Thankfully, that's all 100% Neil. Neil is a master of his craft, easily the best out there, and we're very lucky to have him.
So you recently re-released Blast Tyrant, Robot Hive, and From Beale Street to Oblivion. What was the story behind that, and how's it all gone?
Well, the first part of the story isn't really that fun, and that is that we were on DRT Records, and we had a 3-record deal with those guys. Essentially what happened was those guys stopped paying royalties. So we made Beale Street, and we were finished contractually with those guys, and over the course of several years they just did not pay royalties. We ended up suing Derek Shulman, and we were able to get the masters back, and that's essentially what happened. It was an ugly thing. Lawsuits are no fun. Definitely one of those things that you have to put a lot of energy into something that is not enjoyable, and I hope we never have to do that again.
What's happening with regards to a new album at the moment?
Well, we've got some new songs in the works. Just this tour, we've started to narrow down a time frame. I think we're going to record sometime in late summer, early fall. We're very excited about it. We want this to be the best record we've ever done.
Any idea what direction that's going to take this time?
Not really. There's some songs in the works. I would say that these tend to be pretty upbeat, and there's a lot of, from my perspective, there's a lot of 6/8 and 12/8 playing in there, and for me that's something that I've been studying, and I think it's starting to creep into the music a little bit more than it did before.
Any songs being previewed tonight?
I have not seen the set list. That there is a good chance of that. We have been playing 2 new songs, and maybe one of those will make it into the set.
Who are your favourite bands out of those you've toured with and collaborated with?
Well, easily Thin Lizzy. I mean, watching these guys play every night is an amazing education. But we've been able to tour with a lot of great bands over the years. We were just on tour with Motorhead last year in the States. We did another tour with those guys over here in the UK. Another one of our favorite bands. Really inspiring to see those guys play. But over the years, we played with a lot of great bands. We played with bands like Sepultura and Prong, Monster Magnet, and it's been a lot of fun.
What are your favourite songs to play live?
The new stuff is always the most fun. There's a new one called Newt, and that's one of these ones that's a 6/8, and that's pretty exciting. That's a different kind of a groove. It sort of takes on a lot of different grooves all within one tempo, which is a fun thing.
Who are your biggest influences personally and throughout the band?
As a drummer, Elvin Jones, Mitch Mitchell, John Bonham, Ginger Baker, Buddy Miles, Steve Gadd, Bernard Purdy. I mean, I could talk all day about drums. And then musically, you know, all the good stuff, and that's going to be stuff like Hendrix and James Brown, and Sonny Boy Williamson. I was just listening to Fats Domino when you came up just now. It's that's something I've been trying to do. You know, really trying to study the history of the instrument, and trying to learn about it as much as I can.
How do you spend time when you aren't working on Clutch?
I practice.
Any chance of a UK headline tour soon?
For sure. We need to come back to the UK to headline. I know that there's a few festival things in the works, and hopefully we'll be able to come over and do some headline shows during that time.